Netanyahu wants you to believe that Muslims are the enemy, that they have always been against the Jewish people, that Israel's only option is war, occupation, and endless conflict. But what if I told you that a Jewish rabbi just shattered this lie? What if I told you that his own history, his very existence, proves otherwise? And what if I told you that this truth completely destroys Netanyahu's narrative? Rabbi Haim Soffer has come forward with a story that Zionists don't want you to hear. A story that goes against everything Netanyahu and his government want people to believe. A story that proves history isn't as black and white as Israel makes it seem. Because during one of the darkest times in Jewish history, when soldiers came hunting for Jews, a Muslim man, a simple landlord, stood his ground and did something extraordinary. The soldiers burst into his house, demanding to take the Jews. They weren't asking. They were ready to take them by force. But standing between them and their targets was this Muslim man, gripping a sword, his stance firm. "What are you talking about?" he said. "These are my children, over my dead body." The soldiers insisted. "Step aside," they said. "We just want the Jews." But the landlord didn't flinch. "You don't understand," he told them. "I love them. I will fight for them." And just like that, the soldiers backed away. The Jews inside that house were safe. And one of them was the rabbi's mother. But this wasn't a rare act of heroism. The rabbi himself acknowledges it. This happened in other homes too. Other Muslim families stood up, risking their own lives to protect their Jewish neighbors. And today, Rabbi Haim Soffer is alive because of it. He openly states, "The Muslims saved the Jews." Think about what that means. Think about what that does to Netanyahu's entire justification for Israel's actions today. The Israeli government claims to be the only safe haven for Jews. They claim that Muslims have always been the enemy, that Israel's existence depends on keeping Palestinians under control, on constantly being at war with its neighbors. But if that's true, then what does it say about Netanyahu's government, when history itself proves that Muslims were never the enemy? What does it say about Israel's actions when Jewish survival once depended on Muslim kindness? Rabbi Soffer doesn't shy away from the truth. He says, "Muslims don't need my recommendation, but I must say, thank you. Thank you for saving my mother. Thank you for hosting us in Iraq. Thank you for letting our religion flourish." These are the words of a Jewish rabbi, not a Muslim, not an activist. A rabbi who is simply acknowledging the truth. And yet, Netanyahu and his government continue to spread hate. They continue to justify the occupation, the airstrikes, the demolitions, the arrests, the collective punishment of Palestinians. But why? Why erase history? Why rewrite it? Because if people knew the truth, if they realized that Muslims and Jews were not always enemies, then the Zionist narrative would crumble. Because if people understood that Muslims once protected Jewish families the way Palestinians protect each other today, they would start asking questions. Why are the very people who once stood against oppression now becoming the oppressors? Why is the Israeli government treating an entire population as a threat, when Jewish history itself proves that coexistence was possible? The reality is clear. Netanyahu does not want peace. He does not want people to remember the past. He wants division. He wants fear. Because a divided people are easier to control. But the truth is powerful. The truth, once heard, cannot be unheard. And that is why Rabbi Soffer's story is so important. Because it reminds us the enemy is not an entire religion. It is not an entire people. The enemy is the system of oppression that profits from war, from suffering, from lies. The question is, will you let them erase the truth, or will you stand against the lies? Let us know in the comments what you think about this. And if you stand for truth, subscribe for more.